The movie begins with John Constantine waking up from a horrifying dream. As he regains consciousness, he is startled to discover small demons resembling him surrounding him. These creatures initiate an attack on John, prompting him to retaliate against the menacing entities. However, he faces difficulties in eliminating all of them. When he inquires about their nature, they disclose themselves as miniature trench-cloaked projections of his inner demons. Despite the formidable challenge, John utilizes his magical abilities to absorb the demons back into his subconscious. Suddenly, the door knocked, and as he opened it, his old friend Chaz Chandler stood there with a worried expression. Chaz sought help from John, and they decided to go to a peaceful place to talk. Chaz expressed his concerns and revealed that he needed John's assistance for his daughter, Trish, who was in a coma at the hospital. John agreed, and together they went to a London hospital to visit Trish. However, upon seeing John, Chaz's wife expressed displeasure due to his past actions. After some persuasion, she reluctantly agreed to let John enter Trish's room. Inside, Trish lay in the bed unconscious, and John used his magic to awaken her from her coma. Suddenly, she woke up with a terrified expression, as if demons had possessed her body, and flies flew out of her mouth. John returned to Trish's family and explained that the situation was beyond his capabilities. He decided to call in an expert for such conditions, and instructed them to stay behind locked doors. John began casting a powerful spell to open a portal, summoning Asa, the nightmare's nurse. He explained the situation to Asa and requested her help. Using her magical abilities, Asa entered Trish's body, but struggled to locate her soul. John informed her that Trish had recently been possessed by something. With her magical hands, Asa connected Trish's soul back to her body to communicate with her. Speaking through Asa's body, Trish pleaded with John for help, revealing that she was confined in a cage surrounded by monstrous entities. However, before divulging more details, a demonic entity seized control of Asa's body. The creature, now in control, informed John that if he wanted to save the girl, he had to visit a specific address, then left Asa's body, dissipating into the shadows. To save Trish, John and Chaz went to the address they received from the demonic entity, leading them to Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Asa and Chaz's wife, Renee, remained with Trish, casting a protective spell to shield her body from any entities attempting to enter. Emily began to recount her story to Asa about John and Chaz, who had been best friends since childhood, and even formed a band together in their younger years. The pivotal moment occurred when they started working at the Casanova Club. The club was owned by Alex Logue, who practiced occult rituals in the underground of the club. One fateful day, Alex prepared his young daughter Astra to channel the demons into the physical world. John, having practiced occultism since childhood, discovered Alex's dark rituals and was determined to stop him. Upon arriving at the occult ceremony, he opened a portal to hell, summoning a real demon named Nergal to save Astra. The dimension began killing Alex and his followers in horrifying ways. In the chaos, John and Chaz managed to grab Astra and fled the club. However, the relentless creature followed them, infiltrating the nightclub and indiscriminately killing everyone in its path. After the massacre, the monster refocused its attention on John and Chaz. It immobilized them with its power, forcibly taking Astra from Chaz's hands and dragging her into the depths of hell. Since that day, John's behavior changed, and their friendship was shattered. In Los Angeles, John and Chaz arrived at the address the monster had given them and knocked on the door. A pig-like creature opened the door and invited them in. The house was dark, eerie, and filled with the stench of death. The creature instructed them to wait, but undeterred, John entered the next room. To his horror, he discovered a room with a pool of water filled with lifeless bodies. In shock, he noticed the monstrous figure that had spoken to him earlier approaching him. The creature reveals that it has possessed Chaz's daughter to get to John, knowing that John cares deeply for his friend. Curious, John asks what the creature wants from him. The monster then leads him to a room with a partition, where monstrous figures celebrate and engage in horrifying torment of humans. In this gruesome setting, the demon discloses that he takes pleasure in absorbing human souls and flesh, savoring the essence of a well-lived life in the mortal world. He reveals his grand plan to establish his own branch of hell, to conquer all of humanity. However, he acknowledges that other monsters also have similar plans. The creature needs John's assistance to eliminate his demon competitors, who are vying for control over human souls for themselves. As part of his revelation, he reluctantly releases control over Chaz's daughter. Inside the room, Chaz overhears their conversation and, fueled by rage, grabs a knife, rushing to kill the monster. However, John intervenes swiftly, cautioning him that if they attack the creature, it could harm his daughter who is still under its control. Despite his anger and determination, Chaz hesitates. In a split-second decision, Chaz lunges at the monster. But the monster teleports Chaz to the top of a towering structure. The creature turns to John and asks for his agreement. John, feeling he has no other choice, reluctantly agrees, and rushes with his car to retrieve Chaz. After picking him up, they embark on a mission to eliminate the 5 monsters as instructed by the creature. However, on the way, John notices a wolf-like monster entity tailing them. Suddenly, more creatures appear, and the monsters catch up, initiating an attack. The vehicle careens out of control, teetering on the edge of a cliff. They manage to escape from the car just before it plummets into the abyss. Now on foot, they find themselves surrounded by more monsters closing in. John, quick on his feet, casts a spell that creates a barrier, preventing the monsters from advancing. As they contemplate their next move, a stranger arrives in a car, offering help. Recognizing the urgency, they quickly hop into the vehicle, grateful for the unexpected assistance. 2 days later, John returns to the creature's house. The monster expresses dissatisfaction, disappointed by the lack of apparent results against its still-at-large enemies. Nevertheless, John informs it that he was close to them. To continue, he needs proof of Chaz's daughter's safety. Suddenly, the creature snatches John, pushing him inside its abdomen, leading him to a dark and foreboding place. In this ominous space, he discovers Trish's soul trapped inside the monster's body within a cage. Before he can learn more, the monster abruptly expels John from its abdomen. There, the monster reveals itself to be Nergal, the demon from John's past that he had inadvertently freed, opening the dark dimension that led to the tragic death of everyone in the club. In anger, John prepares to kill Nergal. However, the monster reminds him that if it dies, Trish dies as well, as John is bound to obey its commands. The creature proposes a deal, urging John to work together to gain control over the world. Refusing to comply, John insists on helping to eliminate the 5 monsters and retrieve Trish's soul for her body. The monster advises him to carefully consider the deal it has proposed, but John, undeterred, heads back home. On his way, a mysterious boy points John to a bar where someone awaits him. Intrigued, John enters the bar and encounters Angela, the collective consciousness of Los Angeles. She explains that she has been following John, utilizing various individuals as vessels, including the driver who rescued him. Angela expresses her concern about the demons of despair, corrupting a city known for its hope. She proposes that they collaborate to eliminate all the monsters that have infiltrated the city. John agrees to join forces with Angela and returns to Chaz, admitting that he lacks the power to defeat Nergal's enemies on his own. However, he reveals a plan to seek the assistance of Mictlantecuhtli, a powerful god of the dead, and one of the principal deities in Aztec mythology. John, using his magical abilities, locates Mictlantecuhtli in an animal slaughterhouse. Inside, John casts a blood magic spell that guides him to Mictlantecuhtli. As John stands before the god, he hears Mictlantecuhtli inquire about what he wants. John reveals that he has come to make a deal and presents a proposal. The god swiftly approaches, grabbing John's neck with the intent to kill. Just as the situation becomes dire, John unveils a deal to restore the respect and reverence that Mictlantecuhtli once had. Intrigued by the proposition, Mictlantecuhtli considers the offer, allowing John to leave unharmed. Assisted by Angela, John and Chaz locate the 5 demons and head to an abandoned old church. Chaz, equipped with holy water, positions himself outside while John enters the church. Once inside, John summons the 5 monsters, and they arrive as expected. Meanwhile, Chaz circles the building with holy water, creating a barrier that traps the demons inside the consecrated space. The monsters understand the trap and launch an attack on John, but Mictlantecuhtli arrives. Pleased to see the monsters, as John promised, Mictlantecuhtli unleashes a powerful attack on the demons, managing to kill most of them. However, the demons fight back fiercely. Despite their efforts, they prove no match for Mictlantecuhtli, who succeeds in eliminating them all. However, Mictlantecuhtli is badly wounded and on the verge of dying. Desperate, he begs John to take him back to his slaughterhouse. However, John, considering the danger to humanity, casts a spell and kills Mictlantecuhtli instead. With the victory over the monsters, they return to Nergal to reclaim Trish's soul. However, upon their arrival, John is surprised to see Angela with the demon. She proposes a deal for them to work together without causing harm to her city, Los Angeles. Eager to retrieve Trish's soul, John asks them to hand it over. Angela, however, informs them that they must sacrifice one soul to save the multitude, leaving them in a difficult decision. Chaz, fueled by anger and blaming John for the chaos, leaves the house and returns to the hospital. Nergal then informs John that as long as he works for him, Trish will live, but he cannot give back her soul. Feeling defeated, John goes to a bar and starts drinking heavily, drowning his sorrows. He becomes drunk and loses control, engaging in aggressive acts that lead to property damage. The police arrest him, but Chaz arrives to free him, paying for the damages. Chaz encourages John to pull himself together and believes in his ability to make a difference. Motivated by Chaz and desperate to save Trish, John reluctantly agrees to the deal, but warns him that it is a dangerous path with significant sacrifices. Chaz, driven by his determination to save his daughter, agrees to do whatever it takes. Together, they go to the hospital, where John begins preparing a protection spell and summons Nergal. Suddenly, a dark smoke fills the room, and Nergal manifests in front of them. In a swift move, John taps into his inner demons, unleashing them to attack Nergal. The little demons lunge at the powerful entity, providing a distraction that buys John enough time to cast a potent spell. The incantation opens all the gates between Hell and Los Angeles, unleashing a surge of chaotic energy that shakes the very foundations of the city. The ground cracks open, and an endless horde of monsters starts to emerge, leaving Nergal with a multitude of competitors to face instead of just 5. Nergal, who desires this world for himself alone, pleads with John to stop. He promises to return the girl's soul, and assures John that he will no longer interfere. John, relenting, stops the spell and closes the gates to hell, preventing more monsters from entering. However, as John fulfills his end of the bargain, Nergal betrays him. He captures Chaz and attempts to kill him. As the situation becomes more dangerous, John steps in to help his friend. However, the creature also manages to ensnare John. Fortunately, John has a backup plan. With the assistance of Asa, they join forces and concentrate on channeling the love that Trish's parents have for her, directing it towards Trish's soul locked inside Nergal's body. The monster becomes overwhelmed with powerful emotions, confused by the sudden surge of positive energy. John reveals that it is the Kamdivar curse, a positive energy that resides within the girl and creatures like Nergal, akin to a cancer. The monster pleads for John to stop, offering to give Trish back. However, John informs him that they already have her. Suddenly, the energy within the monster intensifies, leading to an explosion that leaves behind the bright soul of Trish. She regains control of her body, surviving the ordeal. In this moment of joy, John takes Chaz aside for a private conversation and shares a difficult truth. He explains that the powerful magic used to save Trish and restore happiness comes with a significant cost. John delivers the heartbreaking news that both Trish and Chaz's wife will never remember him again. The sacrifice was made by passing on all the love Chaz had for them to save his daughter. Additionally, due to the nature of the spell, Chaz will also no longer remember his friend John. The weight of this revelation causes Chaz to become angry, as he wasn't informed of the cost of the spell beforehand. Chaz storms off only for the spell to finally take effect and wipe his memory completely. Then Angela appears to John in the guise of an old man, expressing gratitude for his actions. She assures him that she will take care of Chaz. With his mission complete, John decides to return to London, accompanied by one of his surviving inner demons,